The night sky above New Seoul glowed with unusual lights. Commander Taewon Park rushed to the command center of Earth Defense Station Alpha. His heart pounded as he watched the monitors showing strange objects entering Earth's atmosphere. "What are we looking at?" he asked, his voice cutting through the tense silence. Lieutenant Hannah Kim looked up from her screen, face pale. "Sir, they appear to be weapons. Hundreds of them, targeting major cities across all colonies." Earth in 2157 had achieved space travel beyond their solar system, but humans were still newcomers to the galactic community. The Viridian Imperium, a powerful coalition of alien species, had always watched humans with suspicion. "Can we stop them?" Taewon asked, already knowing the answer. "Negative, sir. They're moving too fast, and there are too many." The first impacts came seconds later. The command center shook as explosions lit up the night. On the screens, New Seoul's skyline erupted in flames. Similar reports flooded in from Luna Colony, Mars Settlement, and other human outposts. "Get me a damage report," Taewon ordered, struggling to keep his voice steady. Officer Dae-ho Lee worked frantically at his station. "We've lost contact with most orbital defenses. Ground-based shields failed almost instantly. Civilian casualties." He paused, swallowing hard, likely in the millions already. Taewon gripped the edge of the command table. Humanity had prepared for first contact with hostile aliens, but nothing on this scale. The attack was precise, targeting military installations and population centers with equal efficiency. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission," Hannah said. "It's coming from a Viridian command ship." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a tall alien figure. Its scaled skin shimmered in the light of its ship. When it spoke, the translation system converted its clicks and hisses into flat, emotionless words. "People of Earth," the alien commander said, "your civilization has been judged and found wanting. Your rapid expansion threatens the established order. Your hidden military developments have not gone unnoticed. This demonstration of our power is merely the beginning. Surrender all colonies and technologies, or face complete extinction." The transmission ended abruptly. The command center fell silent except for the wail of distant alarms. "They think we're hiding something," Dae-ho whispered. "But our military is exactly what we've reported to the Galactic Council." Taewon's eyes narrowed. The Viridians had vastly overestimated Earth's military capabilities. But perhaps that mistake could be used to humanity's advantage. "Get me Admiral Song," he ordered. "And prepare to evacuate all surviving personnel to the underground facilities." "Sir?" Hannah questioned. "The underground bases aren't fully operational." "They're all we have left," Taewon replied grimly. As they prepared to move, another wave of explosions rocked the building. Lights flickered, and emergency power kicked in. Through the reinforced windows, Taewon could see New Seoul burning. The gleaming towers that had defined Earth's recovery after the resource wars were now crumbling. In the chaos, Taewon pulled Hannah and Dae-ho closer. "Listen carefully. The Viridians think we have hidden weapons and defenses. We don't. But they don't need to know that." "What are you suggesting, sir?" Dae-ho asked. "We go dark. Completely dark. No broadcasts, no distress calls, nothing. Let them wonder why we're not begging for mercy." Hannah nodded slowly. "Psychological warfare. Make them think we're preparing something big." "Exactly," Taewon said. "And meanwhile, we gather what's left of our forces and do what humans do best: adapt and survive." As they made their way to the emergency transport, Taewon received a direct call from Admiral Min-soo Song. The Admiral's face appeared on his personal device, smoke visible in the background. "Commander Park, I'm initiating Protocol Phoenix," the Admiral said, his voice steady despite the destruction around him. "You know what that means." Taewon nodded. Protocol Phoenix was a last resort strategy, never expected to be used. It meant abandoning all established military doctrine and shifting to a completely unpredictable approach. "The Viridians believe they've cornered us," the Admiral continued. They expect surrender or a desperate, doomed counterattack. They'll get neither. As the transport descended into Earth's depths, carrying the survivors away from the burning city, Taewon looked at the determined faces around him. The Viridians had made a terrible mistake. They had attacked without understanding their enemy. Humans had survived disasters, wars, and their own near extinction before reaching the stars. They bombed us, Taewon said quietly. Now let's show them what happens next. 3 weeks after the devastating attack, Supreme Commander Vecto paced the bridge of his flagship. The massive vessel hovered near Jupiter, a safe distance from Earth. His scaled tail swished in irritation. Report, he demanded of Intelligence Officer Moxu. Moxu lowered his head submissively. Supreme Commander, we still detect no response from the humans. No distress signals. No surrender messages. No communications at all. Vecto's eyes narrowed. This was not the reaction he had expected. When the Viridian Imperium crushed other civilizations, they typically begged for mercy within hours. Yet Earth remained silent. And our scout ships? Vecto asked. 5 more disappeared near Mars orbit yesterday, Moxu admitted. No wreckage found. No emergency transmissions. They simply vanished. Vecto slammed his clawed hand on the command console. Impossible. These humans are primitive. Our report showed their military technology was at least 50 cycles behind ours. Perhaps our intelligence was flawed, Moxu suggested carefully. Find those ships. Vecto roared. And bring me answers. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility unknown even to most humans, Dr. Ji Young Bae studied the Viridian fleet movements on a massive holographic display. The underground base hummed with activity as technicians monitored systems and prepared Earth's response. The Viridians are sending another scout group, reported Senior Engineer Kyuho Ryu. They're following the same route as the others. Ji Young nodded. And right into our net. Activate Capture System 4. On her command, hidden satellites around Mars activated, creating an invisible energy field. When the Viridian scouts entered it, their systems shut down immediately. Specialized Earthships, using technology the Viridians believed impossible for humans, moved in silently to collect the disabled vessels. The Prometheus initiative is working perfectly, Ji Young said with quiet satisfaction. Every captured ship gives us more information about their systems. Admiral Min Su-song entered the command center, his uniform bearing the only remaining emblem of Earth's official military. Everything else was new technology and strategies developed in secret for decades. Dr. Bae, what's our status? He asked. Phase 2 is complete, she replied. The Viridians believe they destroyed our primary defense systems. They have no idea our real technology was never revealed to the galactic community. This had been Earth's strategy since first contact with alien life. Show an acceptable level of advancement, but keep the true breakthroughs hidden. After watching how larger powers treated developing civilizations, humanity had chosen to appear less threatening than they actually were. And the stealth fleet? Admiral Song asked. Engineer Ryu brought up another display. Captain Yoon reports all 20 ships are in position, completely undetected by Viridian sensors. The small fleet of Earth vessels represented technology that was supposed to be centuries beyond human capability. Their hulls absorbed scanning signals rather than reflecting them. Their engines left no energy signature. To the Viridians, they simply didn't exist. They thought they knew exactly what we had, Admiral Song said. That was their first mistake. On the other side of the base, Captain Sun Mi-yoon prepared for the next phase of humanity's response. Her stealth vessel Shadow was docked in an underwater hangar, being loaded with special weapons designed specifically for Viridian vulnerabilities. The targeting systems are calibrated to their communication networks, explained Weapons Officer Jin Woo-nam. One hit will disable their ability to coordinate without causing any casualties. Sunmi nodded in approval. Perfect. We want them confused, not destroyed. This was another element of Earth's strategy. The Viridians expected either surrender or a desperate, violent counterattack. Instead, they would face something much more troubling. An enemy that could have killed them but deliberately chose not to. Back in the command center, Dr. Bay activated a secure line to bases hidden throughout the solar system. Each facility had been built in secret, shielded from detection by technology that Earth had never shared with the galactic community. All stealth platforms online, she confirmed. The Prometheus network is fully operational. Admiral Song studied the display showing the positions of all Viridian forces. They're spreading thin, searching for our response. Their command structure is becoming stretched. This was exactly what they had hoped for. The Viridians, used to quick victories against inferior opponents, were becoming confused and frustrated by Earth's silence. It's time, Admiral Song decided. Captain Yoon, you have permission to begin Phase 3. As Captain Yoon's stealth fleet moved silently toward the Viridian command ships, Dr. Bay allowed herself a small smile. The aliens had expected to find a helpless civilization. Instead, they had awakened Earth's hidden strengths. They thought bombing us would end this quickly, she said quietly. They had no idea what they were starting. Captain Sunmi Yoon stood on the bridge of her stealth vessel Shadow, watching the massive Viridian command ship through specialized sensors. Her crew moved with quiet efficiency, preparing for humanity's first direct action against the aliens who had bombed Earth. Weapons status? Sunmi asked, her voice calm despite the importance of their mission. Quantum disruptors ready, replied Jin Woo Nam, her weapons officer. Targeting their communication arrays only. This was not a standard military response. The Viridians expected Earth to either surrender or launch a desperate, doomed counterattack. Instead, they would face something entirely different. Execute, Sunmi ordered. The Shadow fired 3 precisely aimed energy pulses. Each one hit a different part of the Viridian ship's communication system. No explosions, no casualties, just critical systems suddenly failing. Confusion spread through the Viridian vessel. Emergency lights flashed as their commanders tried to understand what was happening. Their communications with the rest of the fleet went silent. Second target, Sunmi announced. Move us into position. The Shadow glided soundlessly toward another Viridian ship, its advanced stealth systems making it completely invisible to alien sensors. One by one, 5 more enemy vessels lost their ability to communicate. In the Viridian flagship, Supreme Commander Vecto received increasingly alarming reports. 6 ships have gone dark, Supreme Commander reported his second-in-command. No distress signals. No signs of damage. They're just silent. Vecto's scales darkened with rage. How is this possible? Their weapons were primitive. Their defenses were basic. It appears our intelligence was incorrect, his officer replied carefully. The humans have capabilities we did not know about. Back on Earth, in the underwater command center, Admiral Minsu Song watched the operation with satisfaction. Beside him, Dr. Ji Young Bei monitored the Prometheus network, which tracked every Viridian ship in the solar system. Captain Yoon has successfully disabled their forward command units, Dr. Bei reported. Their fleet is now operating without coordination. Perfect, Admiral Song nodded. Now for Phase 2. At his command, small, unmanned Earth vessels suddenly appeared near the main Viridian battle groups. These ships weren't armed with weapons, they carried powerful broadcasting equipment instead. Throughout the Viridian fleet, alien crews were startled as their communication systems were overridden. On every screen, Admiral Song's face appeared. Attention Viridian forces, he said calmly. Your attack on our worlds was based on faulty intelligence. You believed we were primitive and would surrender quickly. That was your mistake. In the Viridian flagship, Vecto watched with growing alarm as the human continued. We chose to appear less advanced than we are, Admiral Song explained. What you're experiencing now is only a small demonstration of our true capabilities. As if to emphasize his point, the lights on the Viridian flagship flickered. Their engines suddenly lost power, leaving them drifting in space. Vecto turned to his engineers in panic. What's happening? Unknown energy field, Supreme Commander, one replied frantically. It's shutting down our systems one by one. The broadcast continued across the Viridian fleet. You have 1 hour to withdraw your forces from our solar system, Admiral Song stated. If you comply, no further action will be taken. If you refuse. He didn't finish the threat. He didn't need to. The message ended, leaving the Viridians in stunned silence. In another part of the solar system, Captain Yoon's shadow approached the largest Viridian supply base. With their communications disabled, the base had no idea what was happening elsewhere. Deploy the nanobots, Sunmi ordered. Jinwoo activated a special launcher. Tiny machines, invisible to the naked eye, swarmed toward the Viridian base. These weren't weapons of destruction, they were tools of demonstration. Within minutes, every piece of Viridian technology in the base stopped working. Humans don't need to destroy their enemies, Sunmi said quietly to her crew. We just need to show them they can't win. Back on Earth, Dr. Bay showed Admiral Song the results of their operations. The Viridian fleet is in complete disarray. Some ships are retreating already. And Supreme Commander Vecto, the Admiral asked. His flagship is disabled but intact, Dr. Bay replied. He's watching everything fall apart around him. Admiral Song nodded with satisfaction. Perfect. Now he understands what happens when you attack humans. In space, the Viridian fleet that had arrived with such confidence now faced an enemy they couldn't see or understand. Their weapons were useless against ships they couldn't detect. Their strategy was meaningless against tactics they couldn't predict. Supreme Commander, an officer reported to Vecto, more of our ships are losing power. We cannot maintain our position. Vecto stared at the blue planet visible in the distance. The humans had tricked the entire galactic community, presenting themselves as developing and harmless while secretly preparing for this moment. Begin withdrawal, he ordered bitterly. And prepare to explain to the High Command how we were defeated by a species that wasn't supposed to have this technology for another 50 years. As the Viridian ships struggled to retreat, Captain Yoon allowed herself a small smile. The aliens had bombed Earth expecting an easy victory. Instead, they had awakened humanity's true potential. The Viridian High Command vessel hovered at the edge of the solar system, far from Earth but still within striking distance. Inside its massive war room, Strategic Commander Felver faced a circle of angry superiors. His scales had dulled from stress over the past 3 months. Explain this failure, demanded the eldest council member. How have these humans resisted us for so long? Felver activated a holographic display showing their fleet movements. The humans do not fight like any species we have encountered. They avoid direct battles where our superior numbers would win. The display changed to show a recent encounter. A Viridian battle group had been disabled without a single explosion. Their systems simply stopped working, and by the time they recovered, the attackers were gone. They strike from nowhere, disable rather than destroy, and disappear before we can respond, Felver explained. Our battle formations are useless against enemies we cannot see. In the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Captain Sunmi Yoon guided her stealth vessel through the floating rocks. 5 other ships followed in perfect formation, all invisible to Viridian sensors. Target confirmed, reported Jinwoo. Viridian Fuel Depot at coordinates 27 to 339. Sunmi nodded. Remember, minimal damage. We want to disable, not destroy. This was the core of Earth's strategy. The humans could have launched devastating counterattacks against Viridian worlds. Instead, they chose to demonstrate their capabilities without causing mass casualties. This approach confused and frightened the Viridians more than any conventional warfare. Deploy the EMPs, Sunmi ordered. Small, specialized devices shot toward the fuel depot. When they activated, a wave of energy washed over the station. Every electronic system shut down instantly. The Viridian workers inside were unharmed, but their ability to supply the invasion fleet was completely eliminated. Meanwhile, in Earth's underwater command center, Dr. Ji Young-bae prepared for the most ambitious operation yet. She stood before Admiral Song and the military leadership, explaining her plan with quiet confidence. "The Prometheus initiative is ready for its final phase," she said. "We can now target their entire command network simultaneously." Admiral Song studied the holographic display showing the complex web of Viridian communications. "What exactly will this do to them?" "It won't harm any individuals," Ji Young explained. "But it will insert false information into their tactical systems. Their sensors will show enemies that don't exist. Their navigation will lead them in circles. Most importantly, each ship will receive different false information, creating chaos and distrust within their fleet," Admiral Song concluded with appreciation. Jinho Ryu, now promoted to chief engineer, added, "The beauty of this approach is that they won't know if any information they receive is reliable. Their rigid command structure depends on perfect communication." Back in the Viridian flagship, Felver received increasingly desperate messages from across their fleet. Supreme Vessel reports human ships approaching from Sector 12. Defense Station Gamma has lost all power. Emergency. 3 unknown vessels have appeared inside our formation. Felver tried to coordinate a response, but each report contradicted the others. Some ships were seeing enemies that others couldn't detect. Some were receiving orders that others never heard. "This is impossible," he muttered. "Their technology cannot be this advanced." In the asteroid belt, Sunmi's fleet completed their mission and prepared to return to Earth. Suddenly, her sensor officer called out, "Captain! A Viridian battleship is on a direct course for us. They've somehow detected our position." Sunmi remained calm. "Activate countermeasures." Instead of running or fighting, the shadow released a cloud of specialized particles that absorbed and redirected sensor signals. To the approaching Viridian ship, it would appear as if dozens of vessels were suddenly present, moving in all directions. The Viridian captain, already confused by contradictory information, now faced what seemed like an entire human battle group appearing from nowhere. He ordered an immediate retreat. In the Viridian High Command vessel, Felver watched as the carefully organized invasion force fell into complete disarray. Ships were firing at phantom targets. Supply lines were broken. Command vessels were receiving reports of attacks that never happened. "They're inside our minds," one officer whispered fearfully. "They know how we think." Felver understood the truth. The humans weren't using superior firepower or numbers. They were using knowledge of Viridian psychology against them. The rigid, hierarchical military structure that had conquered dozens of worlds was now their greatest weakness. "We must contact Earth," he finally said. "Request direct communication with their leaders." The council members looked at him in shock. "You suggest surrender?" "I suggest survival," Felver replied grimly. "We attacked believing they were primitive. We were wrong. If they wanted us destroyed, we would already be gone." As if to emphasize his point, all lights in the command vessel suddenly went dark. Emergency systems activated, revealing a message projected onto the main screen. "Ready to talk now?" The Viridians had launched an overwhelming attack on Earth, expecting quick victory. Instead, they found themselves outmaneuvered by an enemy that fought in ways they couldn't understand or counter. Their mighty invasion force was being defeated not by superior weapons, but by superior thinking. Supreme Commander Vecto entered the neutral meeting station located between Earth and its moon. His steps were heavy with defeat. 6 armed guards followed him, their scales dull from stress. Once, Vecto had commanded thousands of ships across the galaxy. Now, he came to discuss terms with a species he had tried to conquer. The meeting chamber was simple, a round table with chairs for both human and Viridian physiology. Admiral Minsu Song waited calmly, flanked by Dr. Ji Yun Bei and Captain Sun Mi Yoon. No weapons were visible, but Vecto sensed that security measures were present throughout the station. Supreme Commander, Admiral Song said evenly. "Thank you for agreeing to this meeting." Vecto's translator converted his clicking speech to human language. "You have left us little choice. In 5 months, you have disabled half our fleet without destroying a single ship. We do not understand how this is possible." Admiral Song nodded. "That was deliberate. We wanted to demonstrate our capabilities without causing unnecessary deaths. Dr. Bay activated a holographic display showing the solar system. Small lights indicated the positions of Earth's hidden defense platforms and stealth ships, far more than the Viridians had detected. Your attack on Earth was based on false assumptions, she explained. You believed our public technology level reflected our actual capabilities. Vecto's eyes widened as he saw the extent of human defenses. Impossible. Your species has only had space travel for 70 years. We learned early to keep our true capabilities hidden, Captain Yun said. After observing how the galactic community treats developing worlds, we decided to appear less advanced than we actually are. Admiral Song continued, your intelligence reports showed exactly what we wanted them to show. Meanwhile, we studied your tactics, your technology, and your psychology. A hologram changed to show Viridian worlds far from Earth. Near each planet was a small indicator representing a human stealth vessel. Even now, you do not realize the extent of our reach, Admiral Song said quietly. We have ships positioned near every major Viridian colony. At any point during this conflict, we could have struck your homeworlds. Vecto's scales paled. You deliberately held back. Of course, Dr. Bay nodded. Humans do not seek destruction. We seek understanding. Admiral Son placed a data device on the table. These are our terms. They are non-negotiable, but they are fair. Vecto picked up the device cautiously. The terms appeared on his translator: reparations for the human lives lost in the initial attack, recognition of Earth's sovereignty throughout its solar system, and a complete restructuring of the Viridian approach to other civilizations. You do not demand territory? Resources? Vecto asked, confused. We have no interest in conquest, Admiral Song replied. We only wish to ensure this never happens again to us or to any other developing world. Captain Yun added, your empire was built on intimidation of those you believed weaker. That age is ending today. Vecto knew he had no choice but to accept. The Viridian fleet was in disarray, their tactics useless against human methods. Most importantly, the humans had proven they could have destroyed the Viridians at any time but chose not to. I will sign this agreement, Vecto said finally. But understand that not all in the Imperium will accept these terms easily. Admiral Son's expression remained calm. We're aware. That's why our stealth vessels will remain near your key worlds for 1 year. Not as a threat, but as a reminder. After the formal signing, as the Viridian delegation prepared to leave, Dr. Bay approached Vecto with a small device. This contains information about Earth's true history, she said. How we nearly destroyed ourselves through war before reaching the stars. Why we chose to appear less advanced than we are. Perhaps it will help you understand. Vecto accepted the device. You could have annihilated us after our attack. Why didn't you? Because that's not who we are, Dr. Bay replied simply. Humans have learned that victory through understanding is more lasting than victory through destruction. As the Viridian ship departed, Captain Yun joined Admiral Song at the observation window. Do you think they'll honor the agreement? She asked. They have no choice, he replied. More importantly, the galaxy now understands what happens when humanity is threatened. Dr. Bay nodded thoughtfully. They expected either surrender or a desperate counterattack. Instead, they discovered a species that fights differently than any they've encountered. Through the window, Earth glowed blue and green against the blackness of space. The cities that had burned in the initial attack were being rebuilt. The colonies that had been targeted were recovering. Humanity had faced its first true extraterrestrial threat and emerged stronger. They bombed us thinking we would fall quickly, Admiral Song said quietly. Instead, they awakened capabilities we hoped never to need. Captain Yun smiled slightly. And now every species in the galaxy will think twice before underestimating humans again. As news of the agreement spread across Earth and its colonies, people celebrated not just survival, but the dawn of a new era. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, not through conquest or aggression, but through intelligence and restraint. The species that had bombed Earth expecting an easy victory had instead received an unforgettable lesson. You bombed us? Wait until you see what happens next. HFY Sci-Fi Stories.